Welcome to episode 342 of Pub Theology Live, a weekly conversation on life and faith over a craft brewed pint, a fine wine, or whatever happens to be in your glass. On today's episode, the Reverend Ogun Holder and yours truly, Brian Burkhoff, address and engage what's happening through a theological lens with a good brew in hand.
And whether you're a longtime listener or this is your first episode, you have access to more content. If it's your first episode, welcome. Head over to patreon.com/ptlive where you will get some pre and post show conversations and banter about things not necessarily related to the topics of the show. And if you sign up within the next, I don't know, few weeks, I think, we got some pint glasses, Pub Theology Life pint glasses we can mail to you at no cost as a thank you. So head over to patreon.com/btlive. And as always, thank you to our current patrons. Today we will be discussing national revival, America as a Christian nation, and Hindu principles. Sure, those are all connected. Let's go with what we're drinking. What do you have? America is a Christian nation, and then like Hindu principles. Sure, yeah, sure.
All right,
That
I am
tracks.
drinking Shut Eye Peak Pale Ale. It's 5.6. Fair bit of hop.
Okay,
Good for a warm day. It's actually mid to upper 70s today, so beautiful.
gotcha,
Beautiful.
gotcha.
What do you
Yes,
got?
we had a warm sunny day over here. I'm drinking one of my favorites, the Leffe Blonde.
Nice.
My local around the corner grocery store just started carrying them, and I was very excited about that. So
Absolutely. That's a good
this
one.
this always goes down well. And I forgot to bring a glass, so I guess I'm drinking out of it. Well, no, nope. Got a glass.
Mm,
Got a tiny copa,
nice.
as Portuguese say.
So we have our beverages.
We have our
And what
beverages.
is for you, Ogun, a go-to snack? If you're hanging out, you're watching a show, whatever.
Um, if I'm high, it's potato chips. Like if I'm high, I need something really crunchy and tactile.
Yeah.
So, and I will eat like that's why we had to stop buying potato chips because when I get high, I will like the party size, the
Oh, I
party
do.
size. I will eat one of those in one sitting.
Oh my word.
It is not good. When I'm sober, and can make better choices, right?
Right.
I like peanuts, in the shell, unsalted in the shell peanuts, just
Those
roasted.
so
Just
good.
sit there and we cracking those open. So like me peanuts,
Love it.
raisins,
Ooh.
love me raisins as well. Um, so those are the ones that skew healthy. But yes, if health is not a concern or the state of my high or not being high, potato chips or also like white corn nacho chips.
Right.
Like I just yeah, something crunchy. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you on the tortilla chips. I could do chips and salsa, chips and cheese, maybe throw some jalapenos on. Lately, I've been eating, I take a saltine cracker, I put a little horseradish on it, piece of cheddar cheese, and a thin apple slice. And
I'm sorry. Say that again.
it's really
Cracker,
good.
horseradish,
Yep.
cheese, and
And
what
an
was the
apple
last one?
slice
Huh?
on a saltine cracker. And it's somehow, it's like the horseradish gives it a little pop, a little like, ooh, that's got some bite. And then the cheese and the apple and the cracker all just kind of
Yeah,
blend together into this yum.
yeah. Cheese and apples. So I, oddly enough, I didn't list cheese as my favorite snack because for me, cheese is a whole meal. So like, I will make a whole meal out of like I don't know, half a bar of cheddar cheese and
Yeah.
raisins and apples, and like that's some days that's lunch, or some days that's
Yeah.
dinner for me.
Absolutely.
But yes, I'm all about the cheese. It's only been challenging here in Portugal because they have a gazillion varieties of cheese. Don't get me wrong, but Portuguese cheese tends to lean towards like the softer variety,
Sure.
like not as soft as a brie or anything like that. But I like and it's not sharp like the most of Portuguese food. It is just mild flavor.
Yep.
And I love me a cheddar that is so sharp that when you put a knife on it, like the knife breaks. That's how sharp I want my cheddar.
I'm with you. I like an extra sharp cheddar myself.
Yes. So I think honestly, because of the influence of Americans and British here in Lisbon, grocery stores are beginning to carry more and more cheddar. Like 2 years ago, when I started being here more regularly, could not find cheddar cheese to save my life.
Okay.
And they're actually good cheddar, local Portugal cheddar brands. Not a lot, but yeah, super sharp cheddar, some raisins, and yeah, maybe a nice crunchy honey crisp or pink lady, and I'm good to go. Or just cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
My my favorite memory. So this past Christmas, my partner Samira and I went to visit her sister in France, and the French and their cheeses. I was in like absolute heaven, but they're always eating their cheese with bread. And I'm like, I want to eat my cheese with some crackers, with like some
Yeah.
saltines or something, right?
Yeah.
And Samir's like, you can't say that to French people. Like you will offend them.
Right.
Like that's not what they use crackers for if they use them at all. Like you can't do that. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hide what I like to appease them. Like
Yeah.
we were out buying groceries to help with the vacation, and I'm just like, I'll just buy some for myself, right? So I bought some for myself, and it happened to be a day they were out of bread. And so Samira says to her sister, well, Ogun, eat some with crackers. And her sister was like, that is a horrible idea. Like, why would you do that? And she was desperate and she tried it. And then it became her favorite thing.
Exactly.
It became her fit. She's like, I had no idea this was a thing. And then she got high and was doing the
Oh
crackers
yeah.
and the cheese.
All the
And she
crackers.
She ate them all. She ate all the crackers. She really did. It's like you were there. She ate
Yes.
them all. But a good cracker, good sharp cheddar. Yeah, that's all I need.
I'm with you. And if I'm drinking a red wine, I especially want like cheese and a good cracker. So I'll bump up
Yes.
from the saltine if I have it,
Yeah.
Triscuits or some other kind of fancy. But I like, obviously, I like saltines too. But cheese and crackers with a glass of wine.
Mm. And since I've been here, I've been throwing more like meats, like charcuterie into the mix,
Oh yeah.
prosciutto, the Iberian ham, all that stuff here. It's been, yeah, but I'm like, okay, I can't do that all the time. Between the salt content's not good for my blood pressure. The cured, what does it call it? The processed meat.
Yeah.
Well,
The
it's not really, yeah.
nitrites or nitrates
All
or
all of that stuff not good for me. So I use that sparingly. But yeah, cheddar. I don't care how good or bad it might be for you. I'm not going to stop eating the cheese. And according to the current, health and was it health and secretary,
yeah,
you
who
know,
knows? Secretary of Health, I don't know.
yeah, whatever craziness and their new food pyramid, like cheese is up there. So I'm like, okay, not mad at everything he's throwing out there.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Well, this past weekend in Washington, D.C., there was an event entitled Rededicate 250, a national jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving. And I think this was right out on the National Mall, as I understand it. The effort was one of several projects overseen by Freedom 250, which is an organization partnering with the White House and other parts of the government to celebrate this year's the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And the speakers largely advanced the idea that the U.S. is a Christian nation, has a Christian founding, and that its future success depends on prayer. And by prayer, they mean Christian prayer. And one attendee, a woman from Florida who's a Roman Catholic, was near tears saying, I think they're bringing the Holy Spirit over our country, and I'm proud to be an American. It moves me to tears. Not the reaction I would have to this event. And actually, a friend of mine happened to be in DC and wandered over to it and took some video. And yikes.
Was it religious patriotic tears, or was it just allergies? Because it is the season in DC.
True. Fair.
So I don't know. I
Fair.
don't know. it's I I can never overlook the irony. I don't think that's irony. This is just sheer um denial, woeful denial of, again, why Europeans decided to come over here. Also, a woeful denial of what's actually written in the founding fathers documents about creating a state where you're free to worship. And you know was it Jefferson? He never actually wrote the word separation church and state, but he implied it when he said, like, there's no official religion for the country, and the church should not be involved in the state matters, like, because that was what happened back across the pond. We're like, we're not doing that. We're not doing kings. We're not doing like an official state religion that people have to get on board with. The idea of the establishing the United States was religious freedom. So it's so hypocritical to have a government that says, you know we want to make this is a Christian nation, Christianity should be the religion, and also we are the ones who are defending the Constitution and the will of the founding fathers. I'm just like, those things are not correct. They're not the same. You have a
Yeah.
very fatal and flawed misunderstanding. And I'll be honest, I believe the Republicans who are in higher levels of the party and elected to Congress, they know, but they're preying upon gullible and ignorant, and I don't mean ignorant as in stupid, ignorant as in just not knowing people, and preying on their religious preferences, because
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of MAGA folk would be shocked if they actually read the whole Constitution and what's in it.
I think that's right. I think that's exactly right. Yep. And, there's a text that I think it's the one that Trump read recently during that reading of the Bible event from Second Chronicles, which talks about, if my people will repent and pray, then I will come and heal their land. And zero there's zero taking a moment to say, my people is not referring to the United States in that text. It is referring to the ancient people of Israel. But they
Yeah,
will just conflate, oh, my people, that's us. And
that's
so
us.
if we pray, God's going to heal the United. Like, they just import the present into the past in a
Yes.
non-conscious, non-critical, and by critical I mean careful reading of the text.
Yeah.
And it's gross. And like you said,
And
they they pull this over on, I think, people who aren't in a position to read it more critically. And I think they know what they're doing.
it reminds me of growing up, like, evangelical, Pentecostal, that sort of arena in Barbados, where it was taught to us that because we become Christians, we are now God's people. We are now God's chosen. So that
Right.
verse applies to us,
Right.
right? And this is, stretching the understanding and interpretation of what's there. What's also fascinating for a country that's supposed to be founded upon religious freedom, I forget how many um, pastors, ministers were at this event. I think either 15 or 25, but I'm using whatever number it was. And there was only one of them that wasn't Christian, right? There was one rabbi, and all the rest were like
Was there
Christian
really?
pastors. Yes, that was it. That was it.
Probably a
Of course, it
Zionist
was a
rabbi, if I'm guessing.
you nailed it, man. It's like you were there.
Yeah, because they love
That's it.
themselves some Zionist rabbis, but they don't care about other Jewish
Exactly.
people.
So technically, you can argue it was a religiously pluralistic event, because it wasn't just Christian.
God. By the slimmest margins, it was
I
pluralistic.
mean, don't let the truth get in. We have a good story,
No
right?
doubt.
In that what it is,
Oh
but
my gosh.
yeah, it's fascinating. it's fascinating to watch, and it'll be interesting to see what history writes about this time. I mean,
Yeah.
there's enough about people in the present writing about this time. But it's interesting, and as we watch the president becoming honestly just more and more unhinged,
Right. To put it nicely.
it's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? I think I'm less scared about the rest of his term than what happens after his term is up.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So if we were, let we, but if the government or the nation were to have a faith-based event, it would have to be interfaith. It would have to be
Yes.
intentionally pluralistic, including people of no faith. So it would have to have
Well,
rabbis,
let's
imams,
not let's
Hindus,
not make
Buddhists, Jains, etc.
let's not make the atheists suffer unnecessarily. Why would people of no faith, who would represent people of no faith at a faith gathering?
Well, I don't know. There's some notable atheists, humanists who might come and say, we don't pray, but we will share thoughts of goodness and
Yeah,
well-being.
let them have their own event. The humanists, the Church of the Pastafarians,
Trying to be as
the
inclusive as
let
possible here.
yeah, but you want to, but I don't know that these are people who want to be included.
It's a fair question. I mean,
Right.
so when I was pastor up north about 15 years ago, we did for our town an interfaith or no faith prayer breakfast where we
Okay.
had people of various religious stripes as well as atheists come, and it was a success, I think. I mean, I think people appreciated it and the intent, including the humanists who represented people of no
That's
faith.
that's bizarre to me. Well, I guess I can maybe see humanists there to make a point, but that's bizarre to me. Like, if you are an atheist or you are a person who does not believe in God, you do not believe in prayer, you don't practice prayer, why would you show up to prayer breakfast? I don't
Because I think you
understand.
could acknowledge that this is a an event about communal belonging, about expressing our hopes for our community and
Mm-hmm.
wanting what's good for our neighbors. And maybe we don't use the language of prayer or the act of praying, but we can say that we hold certain intentions of goodness and try to live that out in the world through our humanist principles. And we might share something from that in lieu of a prayer. So I think it's just an acknowledgement by the faith-based people that not all of us in our community are people of faith, and we want to say you are fully seen, included, and welcome. Now, they could choose not to participate, of course, but I think it's fine to make that extension.
I agree with the invitation part of it. I'm always curious about like people who show up at things that are clearly not meant for them.
So do you think like they're just like while the people are praying, they're just like rolling their eyes or internally
Well,
laughing or what?
no, I think people will be respectful,
Yeah,
right? In
yes,
in 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 the place, and also sometimes, yes, you go into spaces to go like, yes, this is gathering of believers, and we are here to make sure everybody realizes that because we don't believe in any God or faith, that it doesn't mean we are bad people. We are also good people, and
exactly.
our faith is in the goodness of humanity, if you would call it that. But for me, it's still like, okay. So I think I told you a couple of years ago in the Unity New Thought denominational space, every couple of years is a conference for African Americans.
Mhm.
Right, we call it Celebrating Our Soul, and there's an association called the People of African Descent New Thought Group, and they put on a conference. And every year they put on the conference, it's a handful of white people who show up to it, right? And the organizers say, the conference is welcoming and open to everyone, regardless of, fill in the blank. That's a wonderful gesture, awesome, right? On the other hand, if you were a white person, why would you show up to a conference that in the title says people of African descent? And I understand that there's this thing about a white privilege that says to white people that we can occupy any space, that we can go anywhere, that this is the white, this is part of the one of the, I guess, symptoms, traits of white privilege. um yeah, so I'm just like,
I
but
remember you telling me this story
yeah,
and being like, yeah, they shouldn't have come.
yeah, yeah. If there was a conference where, people said anyone's welcome, but it's like, people of Nordic descent,
Right.
I'm I know it's not for me. I'm
Yeah.
not going to show up.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll watch the live stream out of curiosity, but I'm not gonna go there.
Right. So I maybe told you this around the time you telling me about that
Mm-hmm.
story. When I was running for office, there was like a Hispanic business owners meetup in Grand Rapids. And
Mm-hmm.
I went to it to listen as someone running to represent people who lived in this area in
Yeah.
Congress. And they said, "Thank you for coming, but this meeting is not for you." And I was like,
Yeah.
"That's fine. I'm happy to leave."
Absolutely.
And I'm glad they felt free to say that.
I'm glad they did too.
And I would never go to that if I wasn't running for Congress to represent them potentially. So that was,
Right.
but
And what you should have done is contact somebody and say, "Hey, I'm running
yes,
for Congress.
right.
I'm a lily white Dutch dude,
Hmm.
and I'm very curious because I know that if I'm elected, I'll be representing you as well. I want to learn more about you and what you're doing. Can I come to your event?"
What's
Like,
the
that's
best
a
time for me to come to something? Yes.
right. Yeah.
It was
That
a
so
fail
that's a
on me to not
that's a
do that,
thing. Well, I mean, I still love you. You're white.
but I
It's
was
all good.
trying.
You live and learn. You live and learn. But I'm
The
just
moral of
like,
the story is I lost that election badly.
you pissed off the Hispanic business people. They're like, we can't vote for this
Yeah, we
dude.
can't vote
He
for this guy. He showed up to our meeting uninvited. What a tool. As opposed to
uh,
the guy I was running against who never shows up. Period.
know your place, know where you belong, and I don't
For
mean that
sure.
in a derogative way. Like,
No, for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah, that's
So,
we should
all
all
right,
do.
I'm going to keep us going on this the U.S. as a Christian nation. And in one of her write-ups this week, historian Heather Cox Richardson wrote, "The United States of America was not founded as a Christian nation, and the founders were quite clear about that. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, in the 1796 Treaty of Tripoli, ratified unanimously by the Senate just a decade after the Constitution went into effect, U.S. leaders said the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion." They said that explicitly and ratified
Mm-hmm.
this, that it is
Yes.
not in any sense founded on the Christian religion and has no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslims. And then Thomas Jefferson, obviously key author of the Declaration, and James Madison both wrote explicitly about the importance of keeping the government separate from religion. So, why does it seem, Ogan, like people on both sides of this discussion seem to have material to back their point of view? Yes, we are a Christian nation, or yes, we were not founded as a Christian nation.
Again, never let the truth get in the way of a good story. First of all, and it's you have to hook people somehow,
Hmm.
right? And religion is low hanging fruit for people,
Right.
and didn't Barack Obama get into trouble when he was caught on a hot mic saying the thing about people in rural areas, you know, when they're in times of desperation, they cling to their guns, they cling to their religion, and like he got in trouble for that.
Yeah, was that Obama who said
Yeah,
that?
that was Obama.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
and
yeah,
they excoriated him on that.
yeah, yeah. It was a hot mic at some like gathering of people, and or not even a hot mic. It wasn't even supposed to be a
Recorded.
recorded event. Somebody
Yeah.
just recorded it,
And
and
guess what? He
right.
wasn't wrong.
He was not wrong. he
He
was
was not wrong.
he was not wrong. Now, he was a little painting with a very broad brush because
Of course.
you go to places, urban, rural places, and people are a lot more complex than that. However, yes, generally this is what we associate with folks who live in rural areas.
Yep.
Although my experience of people who live in urban areas is they also are very religious and they also got a lot of guns. So it's
There's a lot of
America, dude.
clinging.
There's a lot of clinging. There's a lot of clinging and a lot of guns. It's
Yep.
not only the folks in the country who have guns,
That's exactly right.
and
That could
not
be a
only
show
white,
title. There's a
and
lot of
not
clinging.
a lot of clinging. I like that. A lot of clinging. So yeah. But but it's again when I said earlier about the thing about ignorance. I think that if you ask the average American, and I don't even think MAGA, just MAGA, but even like some progressive folk who probably, you'll probably get lower numbers for this, but I am sure the average American, they may have a vague idea about the separation of church and state, but not what you just mentioned, this Treaty
Right.
of Tripoli,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We
That's
weren't taught that in
that's
school.
yeah, that's like deep cuts.
It
That's
kind
like
of
deep
is.
cuts on the B side of the second album in the
It,
in the pack, like,
exactly.
right? So yeah,
But sometimes the good
but
stuff is hidden on the B side.
sometimes this ain't one of, well, I mean, this is the good stuff, right?
Yes.
But it is the good stuff to your point. But again, this undermines the entire policies of the mostly the Republican Party, but let's be clear, the Democratic Party also, maybe until recently, has been running on platforms of faith. Like you can't run for president unless you declare yourself a Christian in the US.
That's been the history. Yep.
That's been the history. And we are all, even Trump, or liar in chief, had to lie about being a Christian because he understood
Yep.
that you have to say that.
That's the cost of entry.
That is the price of entry. So because it is the biggest religion in the country, all the flavors of it. So if you want people to vote for you, you have to come across as being one of them. So you got to profess your Christianity, whether you believe in it or not. Daily Show did a great piece last night. It was kind of like a reviewing of why Trump is not fit to be president, and they had a special piece about his love of the Bible, and they're showing clips of somebody asking him, well, if you love the Bible, what's your favorite book? And he's like, the Bible. That's one of my top five. Give us a verse. Well, I don't like to give you my favorite verses. That's very personal
I don't like to
for
make
the
favorites.
yeah, yeah. To which John Stewart goes, that's right, not sharing your favorite Bible verses. Very much what all Christians do.
Right. Right. So private.
So private.
No Christian wants to get that personal.
No, exactly. Exactly. Oh,
My
so
goodness.
so yes, I think it's you know it's now the good thing about it is the law of the US supports the religious plurality, and the
Yes.
law will defend anyone of any faith. So we got that going for us. Even the Church of Satan, who I believe low key will be the ones who save us, because so many things around free speech and freedom to worship. They've been a lot of lawsuits and cases brought by the Satanists, the Church of Satan,
Right.
that have been supported. So I mean, if there's anyone that might save the democratic nature of religious plurality, it might be the Church of the Satanists, and good for them. Hail Baphomet.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. And so I do think it is important to have this history better known. And like, we're not trying to ruin anyone's story about who we are as a country. We're trying to be accurate about who we are. And from the beginning, we have been a place of religious pluralism. And that's one of the good things about it.
Yeah, but accuracy ruins the story.
Dang it. You're
That's
right. Not
that's
trying to ruin the
that's the
story,
whole
but I
thing.
am ruining the story.
Yeah, accuracy ruins legends. Accuracy ruins ritual. Like accuracy is the and anthemina. What's the word? And this bear is not that strong. Accuracy is in stands in opposition to a story,
It's the
to a legend.
antithesis.
Antithesis. There's another word, anthemina. I'm gonna look that up. Okay, go ahead.
Antithesis.
And
So there was a pastor who, like 20 years ago, wrote a book titled "The Myth of a Christian Nation," like highlighting everything we just talked about, right? That there's this
mhm,
whole mythology that we're a Christian nation, but it's a myth, one that turns out not to be correct.
right, yeah, it's not. It's not. But again, in the face of uncertainty, right? And this is why I think um again, evil genius Trump is,
Right.
but and also, traditionally most Republican presidents realize that in as we have increasing uncertainty because of um, global the global transitions of the world. We got AI doing all the things it's doing. A while back, it was like shipping all the jobs overseas. The global economy, in a sense, um, robbed a lot of the certainty that a lot of folks had
Yeah.
in the past, like around manufacturing, around their job stability, all the things. Um, so, what is it that's left that makes a person feel safe? And for a lot of it, it's religion. For a lot of folks, religion is the one constant because God is never changing. Because the basic tenets of Christianity or whatever faith that one particularly aligns with hasn't changed for centuries.
Right.
Unless your religion was started 50 years ago, basically these things have stood the test of time,
Yep.
or at least continue, even though if you dig deep, there have been a lot of changes and evolutions and all things, but
Yeah.
their religion provides a certain sense of certainty and safety that people need.
They do. It's an
Um,
anchor.
yeah, it is an anchor. So even if that safety is like a wooden box that doesn't allow you to move, at least you believe you're protected,
Right. That's right.
right? so so
Step
I
one,
I
put your faith in a box.
put your faith in a box. I put my faith in a box. Sorry. Um,
Sorry.
oh my god. So I understand that, and you know people who are both smart and evil genius enough to exploit that and to do it in a way that people don't know they're being exploited. I mean, that is the face of evil, right?
Right.
But
Right. Totally.
and even in the midst of the story of certainty that Trump sold to his followers before being elected, even though there's nothing in his policies that are, you know, making his promises come true. Like things are objectively worse right now, like very worse.
Right.
And then, he had that question about somebody asked him, in terms of the war in Iran, how do you factor in the hurt that people are feeling economically? He said, oh yeah, I don't factor that in at all.
Yeah.
I
I don't
don't
think at all
factor in the
about,
pain.
I
Yeah,
don't think it doesn't matter.
exactly. Right now, you hear that. For me, there's that, like, how can someone who supports and voted for him hear that and still feel like he represents them? But again, when you go in deep enough, you will make an excuse and you will rationalize. And I think it's, again, when you look at polls, as much as one can trust polls, you can see that he's shedding support. He's
Yeah.
shedding support. And the sad part is, this stupid Iran thing will eventually end and gas prices will come down and things will feel affordable again. And they will forget. They'll
Right.
conveniently forget that he said, yeah, I don't think about y'all at all.
Right. I've seen people rationalize it, supporters of his saying, "Oh, you want the federal government to be concerned about your personal financial situation?" And I'm like, the freaking basic part of the job is caring about the well-being of your citizens. What else is the job for? What is wrong with
Yes,
you?
the job is also for personally lining one's pockets with
Yeah,
insider trading.
exactly.
And the oh my god, have you heard about the websites that allow you to basically bet on anything and
Yeah,
everything?
yeah.
And the dude who got arrested, he was in, I think it was an army, and or he was a military dude who knew about the invasion, not the invasion, but they were gonna get the Maduro out of Venezuela.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he bet on it and made like bank
Mm-hmm.
on it, and they eventually found him out and he was arrested and the whole thing. But this is what we're coming to. this,
Right,
this is where we're at.
right. But when the Trump family makes those bets on that same site, no problem.
No problem. In fact, one of them sits on the board. I forget
Yes,
which son does. One of them sits on the board. You
yes.
know, but
It's
honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. There was a part of me that was tempted to go bet on some NBA games. Um,
nice.
I can't do that. I will.
Uh,
I did that for about 10 minutes. I remember like when the sports betting sites like were really starting to like be birthed and
yeah,
come online like right at the beginning. I remember like I was like, I got to spare $50. I'll throw it on the site and see how well I do. And I won some and I lost more, and then I won some, then I lost more. But I remember the sensation I felt was just this ongoing anxiety
yes.
all the time. Like I was starting to have trouble sleeping. And
Mm,
again, it was at a time when for me $50 was play money,
sure.
right? Disposable income. So, and that's why I only put 50 in, because if I lose this 50, it's not going to mean anything to me
Right.
at that time. And I remember going like ridden with anxiety. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gambling's not my vice.
Yeah, I created an account on DraftKings because they were doing it like you get whatever, $50 and free something or other. And I couldn't even do it. Like I couldn't place
But I
a
get you.
bet. I just wouldn't do it. And
Yeah.
I've never done it. I love sports too much, I think, to bet on it. I think I would like you, I'd be anxious all the time, and then I'd be chasing the wins, but it'd be a lot of losses.
It would be a lot of losses. It would be a lot of losses. But the idea that we're in a time where you can get online and bet on anything
On
at
anything.
all. It's just wild to me.
It,
It is absolutely wild to me. What's
yeah,
his name? John Oliver last week tonight did a whole piece about that.
right.
So if you haven't seen that, you gotta check that out. It's borderline criminal. It is definitely taking advantage of people, and it's just wild. It's
Yeah,
just wild. Crazy times, man.
great indeed. Crazy times. So I saw this statement on social media which said let me restart. It said this: undereducated voters are more dangerous than illegal immigrants. Do you agree or disagree?
Um, Definitely agree.
Hmm.
Definitely, definitely agree. Undereducated voters are more dangerous. Yes, because they're going to vote for policies that endanger everybody.
Yes.
You know, and folks who illegal immigrants, or undocumented folks who are here. The research statistics have shown that the vast majority of them or do not engage in criminal behavior. They pay their taxes. They contribute to society, and they are not dangerous at all. They're actually less dangerous than the folks who are born and bred in the America. So there's there's
Absolutely. I mean,
there's
that's
numbers to back
factual.
that up. That is factual.
That is
So yeah,
absolutely factual that citizens commit more crimes than immigrants. And so then that makes this one an easy one. So then undereducated voters, exactly as you said, are going to cause a lot more problems because look, we're on Trump 2.0 because of undereducated, or you could say uneducated voters putting him in
yeah,
office twice.
yes, yeah, exactly. And But the point is, we've become a country, and this is a time also globally where information does not inform you. You chase the information that supports your view already.
Right.
So you can absolutely silo yourself, put yourself in an echo chamber, lock the door, and never leave. And that's the problem where we're at. And what's fascinating is folks not realizing like this is all a scheme to put more dollars in billionaires' pockets. Like
Yeah.
they take advantage of that, and we've seen that, when Facebook was on trial for like, yeah, the algorithm feeds you what you want to see to support your views, but then also it will feed people into you that don't agree with you to get arguments going
Mm-hmm.
for engagement, right? So yes, people are making billions off of us not wanting to educate ourselves, think for ourselves, be open to other people's points of views. Um, and yeah, it is a sad time. It is a sad time.
Yeah, and on that front, the pernicious thing is I see so many sites that are, or pages, I guess I would say, on Facebook for one, that just feel like this is some bot over in, or not a bot, just a malicious actor in some other country who's made this conservative echo chamber page that's just putting all this propaganda, false nonsense
Oh
into
my
the
god,
stream.
did you hear about did you hear about one of those pages, one of those sites, or accounts rather, that it was a well-known, well-followed, um she was young, blonde, buxom American woman,
Yeah.
and very, very conservative and spewing MAGA stuff, and it's like a account created like a dude in India.
A dude in India. Yes, and he was paying bills.
He was making bank
He
off
was
that
making
page.
money.
He was making bank. And I'm like,
Unbelievable.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm like, if I had no ethics, I could see it.
Like you know what, you're perpetuating hateful ideology, and that's a horrible thing, but you are a brown dude in India taking advantage of these undereducated morons. I am not mad at you.
I know, right? I hear you. It's like, oh my
It's
gosh.
evil, and I'm not mad at it. Like, I was so torn when I read that.
I hear you. I hear you. Oh gosh.
And the fact that I am torn about it is again another indication of the time that we're in,
Yes.
because I should be like, that's wrong on all counts. But at the same time, I'm not mad at you.
Well, yeah, underprivileged person of color taking
Oh my
advantage
God.
of white capitalism. Knock yourself out.
Exactly. Not just white capitalism, but racism, white supremacy.
Oh, well,
Like
yeah, all the whiteness.
he's feeding these people like just a stew of their own vitriol, and
And they're spooning
making
it up.
and they're spooning it up, right? And I'm just like, that's genius,
Yeah,
but it's also, propagating the hate,
I know.
and that's not okay either. So
Yes.
like, what
I
what
saw
did
a
these
site the
what
other
is
day
that?
that was like Sandy's country something. And it's this AI redhead, young, as you
Mm-hmm.
said, buxom, like, and I'm like, this is not real. And yet it's
It's
got
not
like a
real.
million followers. And I'm like,
Yes.
what? This is nonsense.
And to be clear, it happens on the progressive end as well. Let's
Oh,
be
I'm
clear. It's
sure.
not right.
I'm
So
sure.
we have folks who realize we can take advantage of people's need to latch on to something, to believe something, and to be willing to argue about it, and then willing to send some money about it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's so again, the problem, to be clear, isn't the people doing this. It's the system that we live in
No doubt.
that says people can be so desperate that this is what they need to do
Yep.
in order to make money, take advantage of people who are taking advantage of people. I'm just like, yeah, yeah. I think I've realized that since the rise of bot farms and AI, that my time on social media has been decreasing more and more.
Yep.
because there's no part of me at this point that can really trust what I see. Like, I mean, there's certain like anti-racism and pro, queer positive, sex positive accounts and creators that I know and trust their content.
Right.
And I got them bookmarked. Every once in a while I'll check in to see what they're talking about, but other than that, generally I'm like, I can't trust the authenticity of what I'm seeing.
You got to be a much
You
more
know,
careful user of social media than you ever have in the past.
and I don't want to work that hard.
And, right. And it's exhausting. Exactly. It is exhausting.
Exhausted. The earliest days of Twitter, you got online and like you read shit, and you're like, that's real, that's
That's
true,
real.
and
That's what's
and
happening.
now nothing's real
Now
anymore.
it's none of it's real. So thank you for all of that white supremacist Christian capitalism. But what about Hinduism? Let's think
I,
about Hinduism. So I'm going to read just three principles of Hinduism.
mhm.
One is karma, of course, familiar the most to people, the universal law of cause and effect. A person's actions and intentions directly shape their current and future lives. And then there's samsara, which is the continuous cycle of birth, death, and reincarnation driven by karma. And then the third principle, moksha, which is the ultimate spiritual goal, liberation from the cycle of rebirth and realization of the soul's oneness with Brahman, sometimes also called nirvana. And so what stands out to you with sort of this karma, samsara, moksha, and are there things that you appreciate or identify with, or that we could use more of this kind of thinking?
um different strokes for different folks. I respect everyone's uh spiritual slash religious views of things. um for me this the idea of karma affecting, or the karmic influence in samsara, like we're in this cycle of birth, death, reincarnation, and the goal of getting off of that is to, like, learn the lessons in any particular lifetime via karma, and jump off that cycle, so that then, yes, we can experience nirvana. For me, in a lot of ways, that keeps me more worried about the future. Well, like, it simultaneously keeps me worried about the future, as in my next life, but
Right.
also then I feel it motivates me to do good for the wrong reason.
Yeah, it's very like a Christian spin on this would be it's very works righteousness.
Yes, exactly. And the folks that I know who are Hindu, many of them don't. They. I'll say this: many of the Hindu folks that I know are really good people who do really kind acts of compassion because they're good people, right?
Yeah.
They're not like, I'm doing this. I'm doing this to get off the wheel of samsara.
Yeah,
Like,
they're not just angling.
exactly, right. So not throwing them under the bus, but there's this idea, I believe, again, that the works you do now will lead to a reward later. So it's a very transactional thing. Christianity has this, like,
Yes, it
you know,
does.
so Hinduism has this, um, Buddhism to some, but I feel a lesser extent. There's a very transactional nature, and for me, it's like, can you just do good for good's sake?
Right.
Um, because when I lift you up, I'm lifting myself up. When I love you, I'm loving me. Like, was it the rising tide raises all boats sort of deal. And to
For
take out the
sure.
transactional nature of it, the do good now, get rewarded later. How about just do good now for the sake of doing good now?
Yeah, it kind of feels like it taints it, right? Because it's like, well, yeah, I want to get out of this vicious cycle of birth, death, and reincarnation. I want to get to this place of oneness and liberation. But it's like if I'm only like helping a neighbor or a person in need because it's going to help me later, then yeah, that
Yeah,
feels like it's kind of like that's kind of gross.
yeah. It doesn't feel like a genuine, compassionate act of service. Now, I do resonate with the karma idea of, how we show up now in terms of our thoughts and actions does affect the experience that we have now in
Yeah.
this time. um I believe when we live with open-hearted generosity and compassion, that's what we will always experience. What we give out is what we will receive.
And we all love to use it when someone does something horrible, seemingly gets away with it, and then later it comes back around and we're like, that's karma, bitch.
That's karma, man. That's karma. I experienced it. So I remember, I think, was it last week? It might have been the pre-show or about what I was telling you about, that long line that I was in for
Oh
the
yeah.
immigration
Yes.
visit. And there was like a couple dudes who were like low key, jumping ahead in a very casual way to try and
Yes.
get ahead of folks, and I remember at some point we were getting near to the front of the line, and I'm just yelling out, God don't love cheaters. God don't love cheaters. Right? So,
Amazing. Love it.
and I'm in a very playful way giving people a hard time. Like I don't really care, because I know at the point where we were in that line, we were all gonna get in and get a number. So I was just like, but these two dudes, man, they got to the very front, and when they were about to like let the next batch of people in to get the line, people like behind us who saw them, they got really mad,
Oh no.
right? Because they figure, yeah, these guys are just loitering around, they're gonna get back in their proper spots, right? But they didn't look like they were doing that, and people started yelling at them. And I
Oh,
swear to God, it was like some mob justice was going to happen, and
oh
they
no.
were terrified. The look of fear and terror in their eyes as they were like, "Oh shit, these people are going to come for me!" And so they were like coming back to their spots that they originally started. And one dude who was originally started behind me, but suddenly was magically 15 spots ahead of me, he's like running back. He's like, I was behind you, right? I was behind you. I was like, dude, I don't know you, man. I don't know you.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know you.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was I was laughing my ass off. It was so funny to see, but that was kind of like that, that karmic. We call it karma. It's not really karma, but we call it. That's what we call it. Like, he tried to cheat others,
Yep.
and they were ready to take him out, and it was hilarious.
And in some ways, we use that's the phrase that we use, right? That we've borrowed from Hinduism, and
Yeah,
and it sort of fulfills this sense of justice, right?
yeah,
When someone does something that wasn't right, they harmed others, they cheated the system, whatever, and then it turns out not to pay off for them. We all love that. That feels like
yes.
that's what should have happened.
We call it karma, but karma doesn't manifest in this current life. Car- karma is for the next life. So
Well,
the idea of karma, that when you truly dive into Hinduism, the idea of karma is the deeds that you do now will be taken into account for your next
all right. What I
reincarnation,
have it
not
says
in this life.
it will impact their current and future lives.
Right. So the current life thing is like, I don't know. That's when my understanding of when I studied Hinduism was that karma was not, you didn't feel the effects of karma in your current life. It was just
I
for
don't
the
know. But
past
think
life.
of all the
But
t-shirts that say karma's a bitch. I mean, they
well,
can't all be
you
wrong.
really, there were a lot of people wearing juicy pants, and there was not juicy. So you can't trust everything written on clothing. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Hashtag
Absolutely.
make America great again.
Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
trust everything written on clothing.
Bingo. Correct. Very
That's
fair.
all, that's all I'm
Very
saying.
fair. That's all he's saying. Nice, nice. Wow. Well, I think that's our show. Thank you, friends, for tuning in to Pub Theology Live. You can show your love for the show by becoming a supporter on Patreon. Get access to pre and post show banter and more. Visit patreon.com/slash PT Live to get started. And a big thank you to our current patrons. You can watch full episodes of the show on YouTube. And our top cities tuning in this week: Atlanta, Georgia, Baltimore, Maryland, and we welcome in Charlotte, North Carolina. So
ATL.
yeah, yeah. Thank you wherever you are tuning in from. And if you'd like to start a pub theology gathering in your town, find support and resources at pubtheology.com. Until next time, friends, drink responsibly, and keep those conversations flowing.